Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my Q&A video. So as part of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I asked you guys to send in some questions for me because I have a whole bunch of new subscribers who haven't been here since the very beginning when I did my very first About Me video. And obviously I'm a bit different than your other couponers. One, because I'm not American, and two, I haven't been here very long. So I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to ask me any questions, both personal and about couponing, and I got a whole bunch from you guys, so thank you so much for sending those in to me. I really do appreciate it. And obviously at the end of this video, I will be announcing the winner to my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, who's going to be winning a $50 Walgreens shopping spree. So stay tuned to the end to see if you are that lucky winner. Now I'm going to try and separate these questions out, try and do the personal ones first, and then we'll get to the couponing questions at the end. Some of these sort of do cross over, so I apologize if I skip over your question or parts of it, just because some people ask the same sort of questions. So let's start with the personal questions. We'll start with an easy one. Kimberly wanted to know if I have any pets. My husband and I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. He had a dog and 2 cats before he met me. I had a dog when we met, got together, got married. I brought my dog over with me from Australia. So our 2 cats are Peach and Sushi. And our 2 dogs, his dog that he brought to the relationship is Yoshi, and he's a big boy. He's a 60-pound dog. He's a lab cross, pit bull cross mixed breed. And my little girl I brought with me from Australia, her name is Edie, and she is 7 pounds of white fluff and energy. So I'll insert their pictures here for you so you can see what they look like. But those are the pets we have. We're not getting any more, despite my husband wanting to adopt every single cat he sees when we go to PetSmart. But 4 is enough for me for now. Let's try a question from Amy Stotts, who wanted to know what was school like for me. I did pretty well at school. I probably could have tried harder. I still got reasonably good marks, but it's sort of the problem where if you know you're smart and can do the things, you sometimes get lazy and complacent. So I still got good marks. Australia has a score out of 100 at the end of high school. I got just under 95. So as I said, pretty good marks, but probably could have done a little bit better. But I went to university straight out of high school. I did a double degree, so you do 2 degrees at a time in Australia. And I did my Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Laws. My Bachelor of Arts majored in International Relations, so that was 5 years of full-time study, but I did get 2 degrees out of it. And then while I was working, I was getting bored intellectually, because the work was fine what I was doing, but it just wasn't sort of that critical thinking kind of thing. So I went back and did my master's full-time while working full-time. Probably wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but you know, if you can do it, good on you. It definitely can be done. And so I got my master's in international relations as well. So yeah, school was relatively easy in terms of academic work. I got bullied, as most people do, in primary school, elementary school. We call it primary school in Australia. Not the greatest experience. I changed schools, but other than that, made me a stronger person. We're all good. Okay. Jewel wanted to know, where did I grow up in Australia? Was it urban, rural, suburban, those sort of things? So I grew up in Melbourne. Melbourne is the second biggest city in Australia. It's all the way down the bottom on the southern coastline. So Melbourne has a population of about, well, the state Melbourne's in, but most of the people are concentrated in Melbourne. I think 3.5 million, and Sydney or New South Wales has about 4. So they're not too far apart. So it's the second biggest city. It's sort of the culture, sport and food capital of Australia. That, you know, Sydney and Melbourne have a rivalry, so they might not agree with you on that. And where I grew up about 30 minutes outside the city in the suburbs. About 10 minutes drive from the beach. The school I went to was literally across the road from the beach. So it's out in the suburbs, just a normal childhood in a 4-bedroom family house with my mum, my dad and my siblings. So that sort of leads me to another question, which was from Mrs. S. Do I have any siblings? What's my family like? Are they back in Australia? Are they here? So I have my mum and my dad. My mum and my dad are divorced. My dad has remarried. So I do have step siblings, but I've really only met them once or twice. One because they were in Australia and I moved away from Melbourne for my job 8 years ago. So I hadn't really been there that often. My dad is actually married to an American woman as well. I think she's from Massachusetts. I always forget. So I have 3 step brothers from my dad's second wife. Then there's my mum. My mum has not remarried, but she's happy, that's all good. And then I have my two actual brothers. One lives back in Australia. He lives in the town where I was living before I moved over here, and that's Canberra. Canberra is about an 8-hour drive north of Melbourne, and it is where, it's the Australian equivalent of Washington DC. It's where the government's based. So that's why we both worked there, because we were both government workers. So he lives there, and he is, 26 this year. So he's just turned 26. And then my other brother, who is the one in between us, he is 29 this year. He's 30 next year. He actually moved to the States before I did. So he moved to the States about 3 or 4 years ago. He wanted to pursue a career in acting and comedy writing. Fortunately, a lot harder than he thought, but he has actually fallen into a career which really suits him to a T and he's doing really well in, and that is restaurant management. So he's lived in New York for about 6 months and then moved to LA, where he's been ever since, and he manages a number of restaurants over there for a big hospitality group, and he's just opened a new restaurant, which he's actually a partner in, which is really good for him. Very small partner, but a partner nonetheless. So if you're ever in Santa Monica, head to a restaurant called Elefante, and I'll make sure he takes care of you, and he'd appreciate your support. So that is my family. I've got lots of cousins. My dad is one of 5, my mum is one of 7. So I grew up with about 20 different cousins, mostly around my age, some older, some younger. So it's a big change coming over here and having no one. Okay, next question. Let's start with Unique. Unique asked, what hobbies do I have outside of couponing? So if you've seen from my channel, I like decor and DIY projects. So I'm really into crafting, especially at this time of year when it's a bit cooler. Over summer, probably not so much, but as the weather cools down, I do like to make things. I've always liked to do that. I've always been like creative, embroidered, sewed, knitted, quilted, painted, DIY'd, all those sorts of things. So I like doing that. I love to travel. Haven't had a chance to do that since I moved here. That is probably the biggest change for me. I'm so used to going on a holiday every year, usually overseas. So I've been to, I think, 35 different countries around the world. So I'm pretty well traveled. It's a big change. Yeah, moving to America where it's less of a thing to go overseas that regularly. But I am excited to have the chance to explore all of the US, because obviously it is one of my favorite places to visit, and now it's where I live. Nellie, Donna and Mrs. S all asked sort of what is my profession, what sort of job would I like in the US. So as I said, I worked for the Australian government for 8 years in policy and program management, so designing government programs, the policy behind them, and then how they were actually going to be implemented on the ground. I do enjoy that work. It's has its ups and downs. It's kind of one of those, particularly in the role I was in policy, you do a lot of the work but then don't get to see the outcomes. So sort of that gets on my, not nerves not the right word. It gets under your skin a little bit at sometimes, because you're like, I'm doing all this work and I never get to see the results. But you just sort of move programs and you move around and you do get to experience lots of things. So I wasn't able to work here for the first 6 or 7 months because of restrictions on my visa. I came over on a fiance visa, we got married, and then I had to wait for my work application to go through, or my green card. In my case, the green card came through first, but that did take from when I got here in December till the end of June, start of July. I started applying for jobs in my field. It is a lot harder because I cannot work for the American federal government. You have to be a US citizen, so I'm restricted to state or lower. And it's a long process. So to bring in money in the meanwhile, I had just finished last week, but I'd spent 8 weeks working at Walmart to bring in a little bit of money. I can't say I missed working in retail. I worked in retail in high school and all throughout college. It was definitely a challenging experience at Walmart. The management at my local Walmart were not the greatest. I was going home in tears. It was that bad, but I did 8 weeks work, 8 weeks at Walmart. I brought a little bit of money in, but for my own health and sanity, I was getting depressed. I actually had to leave. So I did finish last week, and I'm in the process of applying for lots of government jobs. I've had a few interviews, so keep your fingers crossed for me that hopefully I'm in a government job over here soon, preferably in the policy and program management space. But honestly, at this stage, I'll take whatever I can get just to get a foot in the door, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same as in Australia, that once you're in there, it's easier to move around. It's just getting that first initial job in the government. So that was my profession. Rachel and Patty wanted to know, why did I move to the US? Do I like it here? What do I miss? So I moved here because I met my husband about 2 years ago now. I met him while I was on vacation here. We ended up in a long distance relationship for over a year and a half. Just over a year, I should say. We decided to get married, went through the whole visa process. That was a long, stressful process. Got approved in the end of November. 3 weeks later, I was on a plane moving over here. 3 weeks after that, we were married because you had to get married within a certain amount of time. And then going through the process of getting a green card. I have my green card, so I'm here for a while now, hopefully. Do I like it here? I love it here. It's great. It's very similar to Australia. You know, we have the same culture, the same sort of food and entertainment and those sort of things. The biggest challenge was learning how to drive over here. It wasn't hard once I started. It was just getting over that fear of driving not only on the other side of the road, but the other side of the car. But I'm all good now, perfectly fine. Had to sit my driver's license test again from scratch because they don't transfer over your license. So that made me feel like a teenager again, having to do a written and a physical driving test, but I passed, so all good. What do I miss? Obviously family. I suppose it's hard. I miss working, going to a regular office job every day, but that will hopefully change soon enough here. And other than that, not a lot. There's a few food items I miss. There's some Australian candy that, you know, you just don't have over here. There's a candy bar called the Cherry Ripe, and it's a cherry and coconut one, and it's delicious. And your cherry over here is a bit more medicinal than ours. I don't miss Vegemite because I have it with me and I eat it all the time, in case you wanted to know about that. Aisha, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. It could be Aisha, or it could be Aisha. I'm very sorry. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce it. Wanted to know, do my parents or my family visit me in Australia, or how often do I plan to visit Australia now that I'm living here? At this stage, I'm not sure. I haven't been back since I moved over in December. I probably won't go over until sometime next year, maybe. My mum came over and my dad came over for our wedding back in January, and my mum is coming over in April next year. So not very often. FaceTime and WhatsApp are great inventions. It means we can video chat each other all the time, so it sort of feels the same. And I was already living 8 hours away from my mum, so we didn't see each other that often anyway. It was only a few times a year, so it's going to be less often than a few times a year. It'll be once a year at most, but you know, that's what you do when you fall in love with someone who lives on the other side of the world. Let's see, the last one is sort of a lead in to couponing, and it was from Kiona, who wanted to know, did I coupon before I moved to the US? And the answer is no, because Australia does not do couponing. It's just not a thing in Australia. So it was a new thing when I moved over here. So let's move into the couponing questions. Teresa wanted to know, how long had I been couponing before I started my YouTube channel? Now, I'm probably a unique case in that I hadn't been couponing very long. I'd only been couponing 2 months, but I had a lot of spare time on my hands. I couldn't work. I was stuck at home. I couldn't drive for the first few months because I didn't have my license and those sort of things. So I just had a lot of spare time, and I really enjoyed couponing. I'm good at math. I have that sort of good brain about being able to put deals together and remember where things are and what coupons we have. So it gave me something to do. So I just thought this was going to be a small hobby channel. I didn't think anyone would ever watch, but it filled in my time. So that's sort of how I started. I only did it for 2 months. I started in January and I started my channel in March. Nellie and Unique both asked, how did I start couponing and had I heard about couponing in Australia? I had heard about couponing. Everyone has seen the extreme couponing shows. Those shows blew my mind. I know that's not really possible anymore, particularly where I live here in Colorado. You just have coupon limits and store policies don't allow that sort of thing. But that show sort of just, I'm like, how could anyone ever get that much stuff for free? So when I got here, I'm like, I want to try it. I've got time. We're on a limited budget because we only had my husband's income and my savings. So that's sort of why I started. I wasn't able to bring in any income. And I had sold my house before I moved to America, and I wanted to keep as much of that proceeds as possible to buy a house next year over here. So I wanted to try and save money, and couponing allowed me to do that. Let's see, which question should I get to next? Mira and Jessica also asked about couponing in Australia. Couponing, it just isn't a thing. You have store loyalty cards, and sometimes they'll send through personalized prices, but manufacturers don't send out coupons. So the most I'd ever do is wait for an item to go on sale in a store. And some, like for clothing and stuff, stores would send out a 25% off store wide a couple of times a year. So I'd wait for those sort of things. But yeah, couponing was not a deal. So yeah, it was definitely a big change being able to get stuff for free from having to pay full price for things. Let's see. Christy and Melissa wanted to know, if I could only coupon at one place, what would it be and why, or what's my favorite place to coupon basically. And for me, it is CVS. My Walgreens around here, the staff are not the most friendliest. Their coupon policy is a little bit stricter, and I find I always have to spend more out of pocket at Walgreens because of the spend points promotions. Whereas at CVS, I really don't have to spend much. CRTs are great for doing deals, being able to pair them with manufacturer coupons. So I definitely enjoy CVS a lot more, and if I only had to do coupon at one place, it would be CVS. Yes, ECBs expire quicker, but I roll them and do that many deals to show you guys that it doesn't really matter that much. So CVS would be my store of choice to coupon at. Crystal wanted to know, is it harder to coupon while working? So while I was working at Walmart, I was doing 40 hours a week, 1 till 10, 5 days a week. I didn't find couponing any harder. My couponing was fine, but sort of chasing those rebate deals sort of stopped. So when I wasn't working, I was able to go out and meet all the Ibotta bonuses and get 20 deals and, you know, meet all the levels. I was earning, I think, almost close to $300 a month just on Ibotta when I wasn't working, because I was able to go out to all the different stores and, you know, chase deals. Now that I am working, I've sort of cut that out. It's not worth it for me in terms of gas and running around and time. So I just stick to my regular couponing at CVS and Walgreens for you guys. I'll go to Target when I know there's a good deal, because Target is just up the road. And if I'm going grocery shopping, I'll obviously check to see what deals there are as well. But yeah, it's definitely harder to rebate chase, but I find couponing is about the same because I'd be doing that anyway. Nye and Dawna wanted to know about Safeway and Albertsons. Now the problem with that, I'm happy to share what I know about mine, is that it changes based on region. Their coupon policy. They have a general coupon policy, which is on their website, but then it's up to stores to implement their own regional, store specific one. Basically, they wanted to know things like, you guys wanted to know things like, can you use a coupon on a free item? At my Safeway, no, you absolutely cannot. It won't work. The system will beep and they will not push it through. They wanted to know about doubling coupons. My store used to double coupons up until the end of July. Anything below 50 cents would be doubled, and anything between 50 cents and $1 would be taken up to $1. And that was great. That made for some great deals at Safeway. I was really happy with that. When they took that away, I honestly rarely go to Safeway anymore because the deals just aren't there without the doubled coupons for me. So you'll need to check with your store. You'll need to ask. You can obviously do a small transaction to see if the coupon is doubled. That's the other way of testing it out if you don't feel comfortable asking a cashier or a store manager about doubling. But that's how it works at my Albertsons now, which is Safeway here in Denver. No doubling, no coupons on free items. And yeah, it's just a lot harder. The only time the deals end up being worthwhile for me at Safeway is if it's a mix and match, spend $5, save $5 sort of promotion, or when they have rebates on apps to match it with. But other than that, couponing is a lot harder at Safeway, Albertsons for me now, and I actually don't coupon there that often. I prefer Kroger when they have their buy 5, save 5 sort of deals. Donna wanted to know, can you shop at Walgreens online and still get points deals? Yes. So if you go online, say today when we have the buy 2 love health and beauty products, get 5,000 points. If you add 2 to your cart, it will show you how many points you're going to earn down the bottom. And it's the same as shopping in store. If it's a buy promotion, you can redeem points and still earn points. If it's a spend, you cannot redeem points and then get those points back. But they'll be all clearly labeled. Walgreens.com is pretty good for that. It will show you any coupons you can clip to the card, and it will show you any offers for each item when you're on there. So you definitely can earn points while shopping online on Walgreens.com. Little Chocho wanted to know, when do I work out my deals? Do I do it at night? Do I do it in the morning? Do I do it while I'm at work? Usually in the mornings. I'm usually up pretty early. I wake up between 6:30, so I'm up by 7 after feeding the animals and those sort of things. So I usually do my deals in the morning. I'll do them at night as well if a ad preview or something comes out. So last night the CVS ad preview came out quite late, and I sat there doing the deal so I could put the ad out this morning for you guys. So I do it all the time. When I was working, I was using my lunch breaks. I sort of do it all the time for you guys. So whenever I get a chance is basically the answer, but more often than not in the mornings. Amy wanted to know, did I pay full price for things before couponing? In Australia, yes. In the US, I don't think I ever paid full price. I'd wait for an item to go on sale. So I'd wait for it to be on a weekly ad special. But yes, full price in terms of I didn't use coupons. But in terms of makeup and stuff, I'd wait for them to be buy one, get one 50% or buy one, get one free, those sort of deals. So I didn't like paying full price, but I wasn't getting the savings that I get couponing. Carolyn wanted to know, and it's sort of a similar question to Nate, how do I put my deals together and how do I plan my visits? So what I do in terms of putting deals together, both for myself personally and for you guys, is I get the weekly ad preview. Thankfully, we get them a few days in advance online from a number of different people who work I'm assuming, at those companies and who leak them out. So I go through the ad, see what deals are just in there, basic deals in terms of what do the ads say the deals are. ads like CVS and Walgreens show you what coupons are set to be coming as well, so you can sort of get an idea. I also go to the coupon insert preview websites, and they sort of come out around the same time. Usually it's a day or two within each other, and I see what inserts are coming and what we're getting in those. And then I go, I know these are on sale at this store, and I know I'm getting this insert. What deal can I do with that? At CVS, I sort of know what the general CRTs people get based on my experience and what I see other people get. So I can say this is how it would work if you had a certain CRT. And then I also have a really good memory about what coupons we already have on hand. So I know, hang on, if I see something either in store or in an ad, I go, L'Oreal, I'm pretty sure I've got a L5 coupon from 2 weeks ago. Let me check that out, check it. And if I do have it and it is still valid, I can then go, okay, there's a deal on that as well. So that's sort of how I plan my deals. In terms of planning visits, Walgreens, it's just based on the ad, nothing in particular. I don't have a set budget. I don't have like ECBs I have to roll. At the moment, I'm just trying to spend my points. That's basically what I'm doing at Walgreens because of that points change. I'm trying to get rid of as much as possible. So it's really, that's the only reason I'm doing most of the deals at Walgreens, because I don't think they've been great at the moment. At CVS, I do 2 planning trips for CVS. I do one earlier in the week. Once the ads come out and I know what's coming out, I look at the CRTs I got the previous Sunday and work out what I could do with those. So I'll put all those in my plan. And then on Saturday night, when the CRTs for the following week are released, so they're released at 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is 10 p.m. here Mountain Time. So at 10 p.m. I log online and see what I'm getting, and then I can add them into any other deals coming up. So that's sort of how I do it. Sometimes I'll see a deal in store and that's an on-the-fly deal because it's, say, the Rimmel one at CVS on the weekend. It was not in the ad, so no one knew about it. It was spend 9, get 4 plus 40%, and I knew we had $3 coupons. So I sat there, quickly did the math on my calculator on my phone. That app gets a big workout, and I knew I could do a deal with that and add that in. So that's sort of how I plan my deals and my trips. Nate also wanted to know how do I decide what order I'm going to do the deals. It depends on the store. At Walgreens, I just try and do as few transactions as possible because my cashiers are a nightmare there and I just want to get out of the store. I'm like trying to get in and out of Walgreens as quickly as possible. Whereas at CVS, I base it on the CRTs. So if I had a 5 off of 40, I usually try and do those sort of deals first, just because they're the most complex to make sure they're working. However, if I had sent a CRT to my card, I actually do those deals first because I don't want them accidentally coming off on another transaction that I hadn't intended them to come off on. So I'll do deals based on what I've sent to my card, then a threshold deal, then anything else. I know at my CVS, it's easier to do smaller transactions just because their computer system freaks out when there's too many products and coupons and lines and those sort of things. So I sort of try and balance it out based on the ECBs I have to roll, the CRTs I have, and those sort of things. Jennifer, similar sort of question, how long does it take each week to do scenarios? If I was just doing it for myself, it would probably take maybe half an hour to an hour. Because I'm doing it for you guys, I'm going through every ad, every deal, every item. So it takes a lot longer. I probably spend maybe an hour to 90 minutes going through each ad and deal matching for you guys. So across Walgreens and CVS, that's about 2 to 3 hours worth of work. And then I have to do all the video preparation. So typing up all those little screenshots for you. So you've got those. That takes a while. That takes probably another good hour for each ad, and then filming and preparing the videos. So I'd say for the CVS ad matchups video, it's an hour and a half of prep, an hour of typing, and then an hour of filming and editing. So that's probably about 3.5 hours just for that 15 to 20 minute video for you guys. So it does take a while, but if you're just doing it for yourself, it shouldn't take anywhere near that long. And then the final question was a CVS specific one from T. Dooney, and it's about CVS CRTs and how they work together going forward, because there's a lot of information out there at the moment. People are saying it's all changing, you can't do this anymore, you can't do that. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yes, there have been some changes. CVS is not very good at communicating changes in coupon policy to either employees or customers, and people are experiencing different things in different regions. So until we have formal advice about what it's going to be, I'm not going to say this is definitively the policy because I don't know it. I don't work at CVS and I don't set the IT system, but I will tell you how it works for me here in Denver, in Colorado. So obviously we have the 3 different types of CRTs. We have the threshold coupons. So spend, let's see, 3 off of 12 cosmetics is a threshold because you need to spend 12 to save $3. We have the item based ones. So 2 off of $2 off one Colgate toothpaste is an item-based one because you need one item to save $2. And then we have percentage off, whether that's percentage off your purchase or say 40% off L'Oreal facial care, that's your percentage off ones. How do they work together now? So the threshold, for me, the main change is threshold coupons no longer combined together. In terms of if you had a 5 off of 40 and a 3 off of 12 cosmetics, before you used to be able to spend $40, and as long as 12 of that was cosmetics, you'd save the 5 and the 3 and $8 would come off. Now, and it has been like this for a couple of months at my store, if you have a 5 off of 40 and a 3 off of 12 cosmetics, you need to spend $52, 40 plus 12 of which is cosmetics, to save that $8. So that's basically the main change. I know some people have said that you can't use more than one threshold in a transaction. You can, you just have to meet all the thresholds. As you saw in my coupon haul on the weekend, I did the Wet n Wild, the Revlon, and a cosmetics CRT all in the same transaction. One was a 3 off of 12, a 4 off of 12, and a 4 off of 15. I met all those thresholds. So I didn't just meet $15 and have 2 other 12s in between that. I met, what's that, 24 at 15, $39. I spent over $39 to get those 3 CRTs coming off. Then we have the item-based ones. Item-based ones can be paired with threshold coupons. So if I have a 3 off of 12 cosmetics and say that 4 off of 1 Revlon mystery coupon, I can use both and only spend $12 still to have both come off. Those you can pair, no problems. And you can also stack more than one item-based coupon if you have enough items. So if you have a 4 off of 1 Revlon and a 3 off of 1 Revlon, you can use both as long as you have 2 Revlon items in your transaction. You could also use a 2 off of 2 Speed Stick and $1 off any deodorant together. Those will work together. And then we have percentage ones. These are basically not worth anything anymore unless you are willing to pay cash at CVS, because percentage off coupons come off after any manufacturer coupons, after any other CRTs. So say you had that 40% off facial care and you used a 5 off of 22 CRT. That 40% isn't calculated until that $5 comes off any manufacturer's coupons, and after you've used any ECBs. So if you pay with ECBs, anything remaining is where that 40% will come off of. So if your item was $10, you had a $3 off coupon, that brings it down to $7, and you're going, okay, I've got 40% off now, my 40% off comes off that $7, I'm saving $2.80. But then I give them 5 ECB. I'm actually only paying $2 out of pocket for that product, and that 40% is recalculated off that $2, and I'm only saving 80 cents. So that's where, unless you're willing to pay out of pocket cash to get the full value of that percentage off coupon, they're not really worth that much. Like in a big transaction, I think the most I've saved recently has been about 60 or 70 cents. So it's really not worth that much anymore. So I hope that sort of explains CRTs for you guys. And this has gotten to be a very long video. I apologize for that. And I apologize that I'm talking quickly. I just didn't want it to get to that long, and we're already 30 minutes. Sorry guys, but we have one important thing left to get to, and that is our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Whew. Let's see. I did the draw yesterday once the competition closed. It's all through Gleam, so that removes any bias. I just click a button and it picks a random winner as long as that person has met all the criteria. And the winner for the $50 Walgreens shopping spree was Elizabeth Ellis. So congratulations, Elizabeth. I'm going to be sending you an email after this video goes up with details about how you can claim your prize. So Elizabeth gets $50 to spend at walgreens.com just for being a subscriber. So thank you to everyone who entered, and thank you for everyone helping this channel grow to over 1,000 subscribers now. It's amazing. I'm just never thought it would get to this level, and I really want to thank each and every one of you, particularly those of you who have been here since the very beginning. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share, or comment below. If you've not yet done so, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you are a subscriber, make sure you've got that bell icon clicked so you're notified every time I post a new video. And if you think of any other questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try and answer them for you. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.